And then I said, well, I can't just stop in Raleigh where she is. I caught another plane on Faith down to Jackson, Mississippi, headed to the courthouse to get a copy of that warrant. But when I landed in Jackson, there was a queen there having a news conference. We never met each other, but we met each other then. And our spirits connected, and that's what brings us here today. Now, the enemies of our rise, they always want to keep our folks in the civil rights movement away from brothers like us.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Because they want to control it and
that's
marginalize it.
That's right.
They want to contain it. And they know for a fact that if we get involved,
come on, brother.
If we get involved, because we have to be honest. We're attorneys and we're pastors, but we're revolutionaries. Come on, we are totally dedicated to overturning a world of oppression that has crushed our people. Say it. But the cat is out the bag. In more ways than one. Yes, you know what I mean? Right. The cat is out the bag. Yeah. And so now, Carol and Brian, we can't be, all of the history is nice. All of the culture is nice. The movie is nice. This is historic. But we're not living backwards. We're living in a reality where racism and white supremacy is killing our people right now. And so as we leave here, we have still number one objective. Carol and Bryant must be brought to justice for her involvement in the murder of Emmett Till. Carol and Bryant must be brought to justice. Carol and Bryant must be in a federal penitentiary for the rest of her life. We don't care whether she's 89 years old. That's right. We saw over there in Germany where they took a former secretary at a Nazi Holocaust camp. And she was 96 years old, and they put her on trial, and they dragged her off. Because they say never again. And we must get the strength and the fortitude and our backbone to stand up and say, never again will the murderers of our people be allowed to escape. Is that right? That's right. And so we're on the hunt in Bowling Green. We're going to the United States Justice Department and pressing them to officially reverse their ending of the investigation into Carol and Bryant's involvement in Emmett Till's murder. We're going to get that decision reversed because the investigation itself was flawed. The investigation itself was weak. And right now, in the Northern District of Mississippi, we're in the courtrooms right now, fighting it out with Sheriff Ricky Banks, fighting it out with Dwayne Richardson, the prosecutor in that county. If they think that with what they have done, with this sham process of justice, and that they're going to get away with subduing this or covering it up, the legacy of Emmett Till will haunt them forever. The legacy of Emmett Till will never let Dwayne Richardson rest. It'll never let Ricky Banks rest. It'll never let the old governor of Mississippi right now, old governor rest. And Emmett Till won't let him rest. That's right. Emmett Till won't let this family rest. Emmett Till won't let you rest, and Emmett Till won't let us rest. The spirit of Emmett Till represents the injustices that are happening and have happened in Mississippi, which is a sign of the injustices that take place against all of our people. Yes, sir. But Mississippi right now is a focal point. We just came, as I conclude, justice for Michael Jenkins. Justice. Let me have that for one. They're going to give me some names here. Talk about it. Justice. Justice. For Michael Jenkins, that 32-year-old young black man whom I represent. I just came in from Mississippi. Let me tell you just a quick story about just determination. I was going to Jackson, Mississippi on Wednesday morning. It was a 3 o'clock news conference in Jackson, Mississippi. I was on a 647 plane at Baltimore Airport that got me to a connecting flight in Atlanta that was to get me to Jackson, Mississippi, well ahead of the news conference so that I could sit with Michael's family and so I could handle legal business and get to know them. I had been working for them several weeks behind the scenes, but I had never met them. But it was all set up for me to meet them, and all of the press was coming, and families of police victims, they was coming. And here I am, I'm on and been up all night typing and preparing and ready to come. I get to the airport 6:47. The plane is to leave at 6:47. Then they start saying, well, it's a delay. It's a problem with the plane. The plane, it won't leave now till 9 o'clock. And if it's left at 9 o'clock, then you miss the connecting flight to Atlanta, and there's not too many flights in the Jackson, Mississippi. That means I wasn't gonna get there till 5 o'clock in the evening. That means everybody was gonna be disappointed. Everybody was gonna be let down. And so when they said that, I said, get me a flight on another airline to Jackson out of this Baltimore airport. Get me on another flight. Looked around and they said, no flights out of here to Jackson, Mississippi. I said, well, get me to Memphis. Just get me to Memphis out of Baltimore, and I'll find my way into Jackson, Mississippi.
That's right. Determined.
No flights coming out of here to Memphis. Wow. And so I said, God, you got to help me. I can't do this. I done been a million places and never failed. I can't fail a day. Damn it, I got on that Priceline.com. They said at another airport, an hour and a half away, Washington Reagan Airport, near in rush hour. They say it's a flight leaving in 2 hours. Little less than 2 hours. And you've got less than an hour to get all the way over here if you're going to catch this next plane to Memphis. Not to Jackson, out of Reagan to Memphis. I went out there and it commandeered me a cab. I said, and I started taking charge in the cab. I said, get over here, man. Move over here. Get out the way. Move over here. That's right. The traffic got stopped. Move out the side lane, down the side of the road, man. Move the ball, man. I was on this, man. I tip you, man. Just do what I say.
The tip is good.
Yeah, I paid the tip to this airport. Every minute I'm on the GPS. It's talking about, I know I got to get there. I got to go through security. I got to print the ticket out because I bought the ticket while driving. They had 2 tickets left. I bought one of them.
I love it.
On the driveway, pushing and humping to the airport. Finally got up in the airport. Got through security and all of that.
Running like OJ.
I'm OJ Simpson.
Running like OJ.
Well, maybe not OJ.
No,
Some of y'all were here when I brought OJ to Washington, D.C.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Okay, look. I got on the plane, but look, when I get to Memphis, I'm thinking I'm an hour and a half from Jackson. No, I'm 3 hours from Jackson. 3 hours from Jackson, and I got 2 hours to make it. 2 hours to make it to meet the family before the news conference. But at least I got part 1 made. I'm in Memphis. Nobody wanted me. I found me a Gambian black man with a cab.
Wow.
I found him and I started taking command of him.
Wow.
I say, brother, here, man, we going to Jackson. How you gonna deny this, brother? You gonna make this? You gonna make it? Just get on the road, man. Next thing I know, we was on the road. And privately, I really had to, when I got off the plane, I had to use the restroom. I said, it ain't enough time. I'm holding it. Forget that. Don't stop for nothing. And then we arrived on the scene in Mississippi, and so there's a higher power behind the drive, is what I'm saying. And you just believe. I'm talking to black folks. We got to believe in what we can achieve, and we got to move out on faith.
Come on now.
Faith. Okay, so justice for Michael Jenkins. Justice for Michael Jenkins, who was shot in the mouth while handcuffed by Rankin County, Mississippi sheriffs. Justice for him. We are all on top of his case. But not only that, next week we are also opening up, on behalf of Black Lawyers for Justice, a complete investigation into every murder and beating of the Rankin County Police Department. We're launching a complete civil rights and human rights investigation into the entire department.
Say it again.
Everybody that is killed, we're going to get the paperwork to pull it back up. Everybody that they've falsely arrested and convicted, we're going to revisit the case, investigate the persons involved with it to see whether these lying cops who have lied When Michael Jenkins was shot in the mouth by handcuffs from moving fast, he was tortured for over 90 minutes.
Come on, man.
It wasn't that he was running. It wasn't that there was a fight. He was struggling and they were rolling in the grass somewhere or something happened. No, they were inside a residence, and 6 white deputies decided that they were going to terrorize them, humiliate them, kick, beat them while handcuffed until ultimately placing the gun inside Michael's mouth and pulling the trigger. And so this is a dirty police department. But I want to let you know that we're on the fight in Mississippi, not just for Michael Jenkins.
That's right.
We're on the fight in Mississippi against the entire police department.
I'm going down now.
There are other names. You got to raise the names of DeMonterio Gibson. DeMonterio Gibson is a young man that they tried to murder down here in Mississippi. Calling me the other names because they're catching me short right now. There you got it. You have it. Brother Rasheem Carter, the young black man killed in the Gulf area. The Gulf area. Justice for Rasheem Carter. Justice for Emmett Till. Justice for Michael Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker. Justice for DeMonterio Gibson. Justice for, what's the brother they just found that was cut up and all of that, the one that they own? No, Jaheim. What's the other brother?
Jaheim down in the coast.
Jaheim is on the coast.
And
Rasheem is the one that went to the police for help, saying that the white supremacists were after him, and they found him cut up and mutilated not far later. Raheem is the one in the Gulf Coast that they shot when he had his hands up. Jaheim. Justice for Jaheim and justice for Rasheem. And all of the victims in Mississippi and around the country. It's too much to cover right now. Too much going on to catch up with it. But one thing that I know, if it's a fight, we got some freedom fighters on hand. If it's a fight, there's some heart and some soldiers in the fight.
That's right.
And that's what gives us the glory in this house.
That's right.
It's not how big our enemies are. It's the heart and the God that's with us.
That's right.
Okay,
Come on now.
what the scriptures say.
You better say that.
Greater is he.
You better say that.
That is in me. Than is he who is in the world.
You better say that.
Greater is the power and the force of the justice and the God of justice that's in us.
Come on, doctor.
Than the so-called mighty powers that are arrayed against us. Many mighty powers have been brought down to naught by a lesser force when the moral power was behind the little people that was fighting the big enemy. And that's how David defeated Goliath according to the scripture. But we got some little what they call Davidas here. We got some sisters here that have been opposing the injustice system for many, many years. They have been standing up against injustice for many, many years. We want to be quiet and be quiet now. And well, I know you just started. I'm about to ask you to speak.
Oh, I can speak.
And I want to bring on to you now an honored auntie, an honored descendant of Mamie Till Mobley.
Take your time.
I want you to bring you a black woman here that has been educating me on my history. And she has a wealth of knowledge and spirit, and she is a direct descendant of the Emmett Till. Let us bring on Miss Laura now, please, to represent the Emmett Till family. And she's joining the lawsuit. She's joining the lawsuit.
All right.
She's standing up as well. Come on. Yes.
Good morning to all of you. And may God bless us all for being here. I am Emmett Till's cousin. My grandmother was Emmett Till's great aunt and his mother's great aunt. Now, my family started. I'm going to bring you from then to now. My family started a white slave owner in Barlow, Mississippi, on the Spring Hill Plantation, went to Ethiopia along the Nile River. And that's where he found my grandmother, Elizabeth Alexander. Before she would come to America with him, he had to buy her 5 sisters. So up on him buying her 5 sisters, he brought them to that plantation. There, she became his mistress. And she had Laura Tolliver Smith. He didn't give them the Taliaferro name. He gave them the Tolliver name. So, there, he gave this by her, and their birth child name was Laura Tolliver, Laura Tolliver. Now, Laura Tolliver, who was my great-great-grandmother, he sent her to the Vicksburg College. This is in Mississippi. This is right along the Mississippi River. He sent there, and there she met John Smith. So we're the descendants from the Smith side of the family. Now, this white man, Taliaferro, didn't want it. Laura looked just like a white woman. He didn't want his daughter to marry a black man with nappy hair. But since he was an educated black man, he allowed her to marry. And upon him marrying her, my grandmother was born. Ella Nell Smith.
Right, all right.
Ella Nell Smith married my grandfather, Henry Williams. And upon her marrying my grandfather, my father was born, George Marcus Garvey Coach Williams. Now, in that marriage, they also had George Smith. George Smith was Alma Smith Carthan's father. So my grandmother and Alma's Carthan Smith daddy were sisters and brothers. This is how close we were. Let me go and show you how close it was. Mamie was born in November. My daddy was June 4th, 1922. Grandmother didn't make milk, but Alma Smith, Mamie Till Mobley's mama, she made milk. So she fed my daddy on one side and Mamie on the other side.
All right.
You hear me? And Mamie would tell me, I was suck all the milk. Let us go forward. Mamie and Kanama, all of them moved to Chicago when Mamie was 8 years old. And of course, that's where their life started and ended. So Mamie married Emmett Lewis Till, and of course a son was born, Emmett Lewis Till Jr., the martyr saint of our family. So, to matriculate father, he was killed over in Italy for something, whatever took place there. But on his furloughs, when he would come home, he would leave Emmett things. So he left a ring for him 1 year until he got old enough to wear. So when I was 5th grade, Crosby Smith, who Mamie allowed Emmett to come stay with, not Mose Wright, Crosby Smith, told me, he said, Laura, Mamie let Emmett come to stay with me and my wife. But since we didn't have no young kids at our house, we let him go spend some time with Mose Wright and his boy. That's Simeon White family. So he said he and his wife was out in their garden. Milam and Brian came to their house. He said, Crosby was the groundkeeper for the white folks in Monty, Mississippi, handling everything, the maintenance person, we'll call it. So we hear that you have a nephew here who knows how to work them things, can do everything in the field. And we want him to come to work for us for 2 or 3 days. Uncle Crosby said he told them, ain't no way I'm going to let Mamie's son go and work for y'all. That boy came in with a status item on his feet, a gold watch, and a platinum ring. Ain't no way he's going to go back to Chicago with blisters on his back. So his wife intervened and said, why don't you let him go? Let him go work and make him some money. That boy don't need to make no money. So he never told them what Emmett was. So some kind of way they found out that he was at Moe's right now. So in the wee hours of the morning, days later, they went in with a flashlight. Carolyn Bryan stayed on the front porch, okay? Okay, they went in. Willa Parker Willa was to accommodate him and keep up with him for Mamie. That was his job. So they went in Willa, who's a pastor in Chicago right now, and they raised his head up. They were looking for them amber color eyes. So he ain't got the right eye. So they went in the room where Simeon and Emmett was. They pulled Simeon's head up. When they pulled up Emmett, they said, "This the one." So they didn't even allow him get on both his shoes. They took him on out with the flashlight. They took him and they beat him for 3 days and 3 nights. When we had the body exhumed to remove it, Mamie always told me that they shot him in his head. No, they didn't. They drilled a hole in his head from one side to the other. Straight to him. They beat that martyr saint for 3 days and 3 nights until they killed him. Then they hauled him up. Then they put that gin pan on him and dropped him off in that Tallahassee River. So God didn't let him stay down.
Come on now.
They put even concrete blocks on him. But that body floated up.
That's right.
And somebody found that body.
Come on now.
So they let the funeral home know that they had found the body. Do you know that they buried that body? They buried that body first. But mainly being the powerful woman that she was,
Praise God. Come on
she
now.
got her son.
Come on now.
She put him on that train and brought him to Chicago. And she said, "Lord, when I got to that funeral home, you could smell the stench 8 blocks away." She was walking that kitchen in the morning and she was bent down. And she said, "Lord, I can see daylight on the other side." So from 16 years old up until we exhumed that body, I had seen one man killed. One of the prominent black citizens of Clayton County, Jimmy Smith. He was killed down by Alcorn. And he was shot point blank in the head. You saw where the bullet went in, but you never saw where it came out. And then after the body was exhumed, we found out that his head was drilled from one side to the other.
That's right.
Now let's move on forward. Emmett Till was a martyred saint. Mamie told me, "Myra, don't you ever give up on Emmett." She didn't call him Emmett, she called him Bo. She said, "Don't give up on Bo. He was reared right just like you and your sisters and brothers, the way your parents rear you now. Don't you give up on Emmett. I might not be here forever. I want you to open that case, keep going. Open that case, Laurie, and here I am now." This was back in 2003. She was in Mississippi at the Cornerstone Baptist Church. Priscilla and I was with her. Priscilla got on the bandwagon then. After that, Priscilla went to a saga at her hospital where she's working in the emergency room, and this white girl told her she was gonna hang from a tree. And she called me. She said, "Didn't we have a cousin be killed by white folks and done ugly things too?" I said, "Yes." And we've been out there together ever since. I told her, "So we're going to work hard."
That's right.
But she has worked a little harder than me because I got them old basketball injuries and I can't go like she can. But here we are in Washington, D.C., speaking and talking.
Come on now.
And we represent the Emmett Till Justice for Families.
Come on now.
Our Justice for Families Foundation.
Say it again.
You understand what I'm saying?
One more time.
And all we're going to do is bring Brian to court and let her tell the truth.
Come on
and get
now.
her prosecuted.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Come on, give it to us.
That's right. Go ahead.
Give it to us. Good Lord. All right, we move on to about to introduce our keynote speaker.
All right.
For the day, and then once we hear from our keynote speaker, we're going to make a move. Okay, I don't know how many of y'all can come with us. Okay, but I know that as soon as this is over, We're going to hop in a cab, and we're going to the Rayburn office building. We're going to Rayburn. If y'all are driving or you're going to catch an Uber over there, because it's hard to park, or however you're getting there, meet us over here in the lobby of Rayburn. I mean, as soon as you hear Miss Priscilla stop speaking, I know y'all don't want to take a photo. We'll take us a group photo, because I know y'all deserve it, and get your photographs in. But as soon as we do that, as soon as we break, y'all should beat us to an Uber or something if you're going to walk the halls of Congress with us, and beat us over to the front of the Rayburn office building, because we're going to load in and we're going to get over to the Rayburn office building. And we're going to see the Congressional Black Caucus, going to see the Congressional Black Caucus leaders. This family is going to see the senators or the senators from Kentucky who are over the areas where Carol and Bryant lives. And these senators must know that the Till family is on them, and we're calling on them to censure and to repudiate Carol and Bryant as a resident of Kentucky, that this is a major civil rights issue. That's right. And that you can't get away with harboring this white supremacist involved in Emmett Till's murder. And we're going to be on you, Mr. Senator, and you, Mr. Mitch McConnell.
That's right. You got to get him.
Mr. Chicken Jaws. Mitch McConnell. We're going to be on you, Mr. McConnell.
Bye-bye.
We're going to see the senators from Mississippi. We're going to see both senators from Mississippi. We're going to Sister Maxine Waters' office and say, Black woman, we need your help.
Come on now.
We're going to Sheila Jackson Lee office, who we know well. We're saying, Black woman, we want you to meet a sister like you. We need your help. We're going to the Congressional Black Caucus and let them know we need your help. We want Carol and Bryant's name brought to the floor of the United States Congress. We want a bill to be introduced that will denounce, repudiate, and censure Carol and Bryant for her involvement in the murder of Emmett Till. We want it to come from the United States Congress. We want it to come and to be introduced into the Kentucky legislature and make them stand or fall, or whether or not they are with this white supremacist inside Kentucky, or whether they're going to stand up and formally denounce her. We want the current senators from Mississippi on the spot.
That's right.
What is your position on Carol and Bryant? Because we're coming for you. We're coming for you, especially the senators from Mississippi. Why? Because your jobs are at stake. Your jobs are at stake because you have a state that drips in the blood of Black people. You have a state that has a 50% Black population, but you have intentionally, manipulatively, and wickedly deprived them of equal justice and deprived them of equal protection. You have robbed our brothers and sisters through the voting process by striking them from the voting rolls and placing them on felonies without just cause and racist system. I mean, you got so many problems, Mississippi, but there's so much richness in Mississippi. On the day, Mississippi Senator, your new replacement is here with us. Your new replacement.
That's right. That's right.
Is here with us. So for those who are watching, I think we need to say it again. For those that are now tuning in from around the country, but we're going to come back to it. The next Senate race is in the year 2026 in the state of Mississippi. One of those Senate seats is coming open, and that Senate seat needs to be occupied by somebody that fights for our people, that fights on the principles of justice, that fights with a legacy that we can trust, from a family we can trust, from a history we can trust. So I want you now to receive the next senator from the state of Mississippi, from the Emmett Till family, the Honorable Priscilla Sterling, the next senator from the state of Mississippi.
being here. Now is the time for change. Now, what we want and what we need is equal protection under the law.
That's right.
That we are not being given. And I'm going to give you a little brief history about who I am. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. And my auntie here, Anna Williams, who did a beautiful speech. I was one of those young women unwoke. When I say I was unwoke, I was hunky-dory like the lynching and what happened to Emmett was in the past. That happened back in 1955. So when my aunt, Anna Williams, would write our itinerary for our family reunions, we would go and be with Mamie, but I never was interested in hearing what the older people were talking about. My aunt, they all be in their little gowns and reception, and we were young, we were children. So I went to school. I was integrated into elementary school where it was all whites. We were 4 children in a white classroom. So my best friends were white till I was 12, 13 years old. Throughout life, I was still that unwoke black girl. Didn't know anything about a Black Panther Party. I always heard that they were bad. You don't associate with them. This is what we grew up in Mississippi learning about. Malcolm X and the Black Panthers and Louis Farrakhan. And it's just real. So not until I worked at a facility, a white woman told me that she will hang me with a rope from a tree with her hood on. Only thing I did was went and reported. I cried, tears came down my eyes, and she came to me and said, Priscilla, why are you crying? And I said, that happened to a family. But this is still how unwoke I am. Like, this woman just said this to me as if I'm just, that's normal, that's natural. So I went and reported it. When I went and reported it to a black person in a management position, she called the white woman and told her to come up to see what was happening. And the white woman said, yeah, I said it to her. I was just playing a joke with Priscilla. But let me tell you what happened. From that incident, the organization had the black management come and take a polygraph on behalf of what I told her. The white woman that had admitted it to her was able to change the whole story around. I thought it was on paper. I was forced to take a polygraph test and fired. I was fired for her telling me that she would hang me with the rope from a tree with her hood on. But that's not the worst of it. But when I went to take the polygraph test, they put a family member, not knowing that I'm some kin to Emmett Till, this person happened in murder, capital murder. So you get politicians involved, United States senators involved. What happens when we get United States senators involved? Here he is in Washington, D.C. But you go to the Department of Defense and go get Emmett Till's daddy's record. State of Mississippi, you so powerful. As white person in a position, you bring back information to a murder trial and get these men acquitted. United States senators. So the next step is, not only is he a United States senator, his name is James O. Eastman. Starting today.
Yeah.
We ready for Mississippi to change, and the only way we can change Mississippi, we have to challenge the law. We have legislators now in the state of Mississippi, black and white, but white's the majority. Any law that they bring forth, they win. How is that fair?
That's right.
How is that fair? How can you create a two-party justice system, a white and a black, in 2023?
Right.
No, that cannot happen. So the only way we can stop that from happening, we got to organize.
That's right.
It's not just about protesting now. It's not about protesting now. We need to get out here, help those lawmakers make laws. We need to be on the forefront and sitting down and say what we need to bring to the forefront to change. I'm sick and tired of seeing my young black men and black women suffer.
Yes.
I'm sick of it.
Yes.
Your pain. That's how it has happened for me.
Yes.
So the way that we're going to change this system is we're going to have to pull together, create laws that work for us, and create a protection under the law. We got to protect ourselves. We got to protect our children. We got to. So I'm asking each and every one of you out to stand with me, my family, as we go through this. We need to get rid of the leadership that is and guess what? Tay Reeves is our now governor. But he's also involved. But guess who? What they did, how powerful Mississippi is. They put him in charge over the case. Now it's coming coming out that he was involved in the case as lieutenant governor. As the lieutenant governor, he was involved in the case. So you tell me why the Justice Department, the Civil Rights Division here in Washington, D.C. hadn't gone down to Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm asking for the Civil Rights Division headquarters here in Washington to be moved to Mississippi. Michelle Obama now has a picture in the White House. So does Barack Obama. It was a beautiful experience. I got a chance to meet the president. I got a chance to also ask him if he would help us prosecute Carolyn Bryant. He said he could.
You're going too fast. Watch the movie. Now you know when they invite black. Hold on, slow down for a second. Now you know when blacks come invited to the White House, they behave very nice all the time because they just be happy to be in there. And it's an honor. It is an honor. But I believe, remember when we prayed yesterday?
Yes, sir.
So I want to know if any of that take effect while she's in there. Do they treat you real nice by the time they get through limo on you and feeding you all? You ain't finna throw up no fist. You might not get invited. We didn't get invited. So tell us a little bit how it unfolds.
Okay.
It can't take too long.
We left one of the exclusive hotels here in Washington, D.C. Top of the line, the Hay Adams here in Washington, D.C. We got black tie service. We ended up getting to the gates of the White House. We had to go security checkpoints. And it was a long walk. We were greeted by military personnel, police. I mean, nice. Just really they were on point as far as the president and those being protected. Once we got into the White House, there are several different rooms. There are red room, the blue room, gold room, green room. Yeah, they have these different rooms, and on these walls they have different presidents. They have Abraham Lincoln. They have JFK. They have a lot of presidents and important people in big portraits on each one of these walls. So it was a beautiful experience. From there, they had the family. They called out certain names, and it was 5 of us that called out. And it was my family members. They were instructing for us to be moved to a certain room to get Joe Biden situated to meet us. So we sat in the red room and we waited to meet the president. While in there, we had the Till producers, Till film, the actors and actresses. I was with Whoopi. I'm on a couple. We did a little thing yesterday on my phone. And then they had us to line up and go meet Joe Biden. And I did. I was like that black person happy. I was happy. I was, because when I got, I was just smiling like a little girl, and I held my hand out. I didn't even say my name. I just held my hand out, and he had to say, "And who are you?" Because when we went to talk to him, everybody said, "I'm such and such a so-and-so," and I didn't. I just. And he asked me who was I, and I said Priscilla Sterling, and I stood, we all lined up and stood to take a picture, and he stood in the center of my cousin and me and my cousin Terry Watts. And afterward, we were getting ready to leave from taking the picture, and I grabbed his arm. I did, and I grabbed his arm, and I turned around.
Face to face.
I turned around, and let me just share this with you all. Before we had gone to the White House, the Honorable Malik Shabazz said, "You better not be getting in there acting like some old wild and lose your mind because you better go to the White House. You need to be focused about what we're here for and ask the president what you need to ask him." So I thought about Malik while I was standing. You all, because I promise you, I did forget everything he had said when I got in there. I did. So when I got in there, I thought about Malik and I just turned and I said, "Mr. President, will you help us prosecute Carolyn White?" And he looked at me and he said, "I cannot do that because I cannot force a prosecutor to do their job." But and it's true. It's true. He cannot. So after that conversation, he did say, "I will do something. There are laws in place to have something done about it." Yes. So, and I left. After he said, "Okay," and while we were standing there, he said, "I love you," and he hugged me, and I walked on. And I thought that was the most ridiculous. So after all of that, we went straight into the film room. They have a theater, and there were congressmen there from the White House. There were a lot of people. There were at least over 120 people. And yeah, the former Keisha Bottom. There were a lot of influential people watching the movie with us. And after, there were a group of kids from Mississippi, from Grenada, and from Washington, D.C. Okay, so I just want to say this. It really was we had a nice time at the White House, and we thank them for inviting us. It was a process long overdue, and like my auntie said, we are shocked that we were at the White House simply because look at how we got to the White House. From a lynching. So with that being said, because of that lynching, brought us to the White House in 2023, 68 years now. We're at the White House. So now, with that being said, if I'm at the White House in 2023 talking to the President of the United States, I look forward to being in the White House in 2026. Yes.